Hello everyone, have you ever been with the fishermen pulling nets to catch big salmon? Today I will take you along with the fishermen to catch tons of stinky fish through this video. Let's go. Fishermen have been using nets to harvest food from the ocean for thousands of years. Commercial fishermen have used gill nets in Alaska for more than 130 years. Their nets today differ in construction material rather than construction design. A salmon drift gill net consists of colored web or netting that hangs vertically in the water. Large floats or corks hold the top edge of the net toward the surface of the water. A weighted line weighs the bottom edge of the net so that it hangs vertically, nearly invisible in the water. The web can be purchased in multi-hued range of marine colors from nearly clear to deep ocean blue. Each fisherman has their preferred palette of colors for their nets. Some are even quite superstitious about their fishing gear and believing their color scheme to be the fishiest of them all. Aside from a fisherman's boat, these nets are the essential tools of the trade. Mending fishing nets or gear is an essential skill. Nets are expensive, from the purchase of the web and lines to the time or labor to hang them. Some folks hang their own gear. Some have net menders hang their nets for them. As each Copper River salmon is picked from a fisherman's net, it bears evidence of its catch, a broken knot or two or a weakened spot in the web. After a long period of fishing, delivering their fish, cleaning their boat, back in their slip in the harbor, fishermen pull their nets off the bow of the boat onto the dock for repair. The trammel nets form a wall of gill nets in the water, suspended from corks that float on the surface, which can span a distance of 275 to 550 meters and extend to varying depths. The term gill refers to the fact that salmon that try to swim through the net get hooked by the gills in the meshes of the net. Derivative net fishing, vessels set nets on salmon migratory routes along the coast and hoisted caught fish on board. Drift net fishing vessels range from 8 to 13 meters in length. Fixed gill net fishing, a small boat or skiff extends a gill net from shore to catch salmon that swim close to shore. After keeping it in the water for a certain time, the net is lifted by hand. Trollers are small boats manned by 1 or 2 people that fish with long lines with artificial or natural baits. In general, larger fishing areas are assigned to fishing boats, but their catch volumes are lower than those of net fishing. Trollers often fish offshore and intercept salmon offshore as they begin their migration through inland waters. The purse seiners have a circular net that forms a bag that closes at the bottom. The net is kept floating by synthetic corks arranged on the surface, and a skiff drags one end of the net around a school of salmon to enclose them in the bag. The net is then hoisted on board with a driving pulley and a winch. The purse seiners usually cast their nets in areas close to the coast where large schools of salmon gather. The size of the mesh nets used in purse seine fishing is smaller than that of gill nets. The purse seines are about 460 meters long and 30 meters deep, although their size varies by region. Trawl net fishing uses a large funnel-shaped net pulled by a fishing boat. Trawlers are the largest vessels used to fish for whitefish in Alaska. They use advanced means to detect and identify schools of fish underwater, allowing vessels to adjust the trawl of the net relative to fish and the seabed and avoid catching untargeted species. A fishing trawler is a commercial fishing vessel designed to operate fishing trawls. Trawling is a method of fishing that involves actively dragging or pulling a trawl through the water behind one or more trawlers. Trawls are fishing nets that are pulled along the bottom of the sea or in midwater at a specified depth. A trawler may also operate 2 or more trawl nets simultaneously, double rig and multi-rig. There are many variants of trawling gear. They vary according to local traditions, bottom conditions, and how large and powerful the trawling boats are. A trawling boat can be a small open boat with only 30 horsepower, 22 kilowatts, or a large factory ship with 10,000 horsepower, 7,457 kilowatts. Trawl variants include beam trawls, large opening midwater trawls, and large bottom trawls, such as rock hoppers, that are rigged with heavy rubber wheels that let the net crawl over rocky bottom. The modern fishing trawler was developed in the 19th century, at the English fishing port of Brixham. By the early 19th century, the fishermen at Brixham needed to expand their fishing area further than ever before due to the ongoing depletion of stocks that was occurring in the overfished waters of South Devon. The Brixham trawler that evolved there was of a sleek build and had a tall gaff rig, which gave the vessel sufficient speed to make long-distance trips out to the fishing grounds in the ocean. They were also sufficiently robust to be able to tow large trawls in deep water. The great trawling fleet that built up at Brixham earned the village the title of Mother of Deep-Sea Fisheries. The earliest purpose-built fishing vessels were designed and made by David Allen in Leith in March 1875, when he converted a drifter to steam power. In 1877, he built the first screw-propelled steam trawler in the world. This vessel was Pioneer LH 854. She was of wooden construction with 2 masts and carried a gaff-rigged main and mizzen using booms and a single foresail. Allen argued that his motivation for steam power was to increase the safety of fishermen. However, local fishermen saw power trawling as a threat. Allen built a total of 10 boats at Leith between 1877 and 1881. 21 boats were completed at Granton, his last vessel being De Grave in 1886. Most of these were sold to foreign owners in France, Belgium, Spain and the West Indies. The first steamboats were made of wood, but steel hulls were soon introduced and were divided into watertight compartments. They were well designed for the crew, with a large building that contained the wheelhouse and the deckhouse. The boats built in the 20th century only had a mizzen sail, which was used to help steady the boat when its nets were out. The main function of the mast was now as a crane for lifting the catch ashore. It also had a steam capstan on the foredeck near the mast for hauling nets. These boats had a crew of 12 made up of a skipper, drive, Purse seiners primarily catch pink salmon. The boats are by Alaskan law are less than 58 feet in length. Purse seine fishing involves locating salmon and encircling the school with a large net that has a float line that keeps it on the surface and a weighted lead line on the bottom of the net that sinks the net vertically into the water. A smaller boat takes one end of the net and pulls it around the school and reconnects the net to the main fishing vessel. The purse line that runs through the bottom of the net up to the fishing vessel is slowly pulled tight using a hydraulic power block, closing the bottom of the net, like a purse string, to contain the school of fish. As the purse line and net is pulled aboard the boat, the circle gets smaller and the fish closer to the surface. At this point, the fish are dipped from the water into the fishing vessel hold where they are refrigerated for transfer to a tender that transports fish to the processing facility. Gill netters primarily catch the sockeye and chum salmon bumblebee cans. Gill netters are typically 30 to 40 feet in length. They catch fish by setting curtain-like nets vertically into the water and perpendicular to the direction the fish are traveling as they migrate towards the coast towards their streams. Like the purse seine net, gill nets have a float line on top and a weighted lead line on the bottom. The mesh openings are designed to be just large enough to allow male fish, which are usually bigger, to get captured while avoiding capture of most smaller females. The net is retrieved on board hydraulically and the fish are hand-picked out of the net as it is brought aboard. As with the purse seiners, fish are refrigerated for transfer to a tender and eventual transportation to processing facilities.